Hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm your host, Connor Overbay. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome to the podcast. You guys can give us a follow on all of our social media. It's going to be Who Are You Pod on everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and even YouTube now. The YouTube community is growing. It is under a different name just because the other stuff has been taken. So if you're looking for us on YouTube, it's going to be Who Are You podcast, and you guys will be able to find us. But as well as if you guys know anybody who has a story that needs to be told, a business owner, an entrepreneur, an artist, an athlete, and you feel like they'd be a good fit for the show, hit me up on any of the social medias, or you can hit me up on our email. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But today, a very, very special guest. Very excited to have this gentleman back on. I've talked about him all the time on the podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Mr. John Hawkins. You guys may know his art that's always on our studio. And, I've always told stories about meeting up with him. But welcome back to the podcast, buddy.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited to have you back. Obviously, you've been growing, and It's been awesome to see your growth in the community. But before we get started on the conversation, if you want to give everybody your social media, where they can follow you, anything you want to promote, all that good stuff.
It's on Instagram. And it's going to be _modern_slow_. And that's basically all I have. It's just
good.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So make sure you guys go check him out on all of his pages. He is putting out amazing artwork. You guys may see his stuff in other restaurants or other art studios around Jacksonville. So, excuse me, make sure you guys go buy a piece of art. I say you guys can have something beautiful like this in your house, in your studio, all the good stuff. But what's up, buddy? I've been super excited to sit down with you. I know you're a busy man. You're a father of two. Obviously, You have your wife, and you work your military job and everything.
Yep.
But happy to have you back on the pod, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So last time I had you on, you were pretty new to Jacksonville, if I remember correctly, like almost brand new, if I remember.
Like 6 months, I think.
6 months in, man. And it's been crazy to see the growth, dude. I'm super happy for you. It's been awesome to see your artwork kind of popping up left and right. I've been seeing you do, your art critiques and, going and doing your own shows rather than going with other people, which I think is really good, man. You're getting that growth. How's it been going in the art world? What's been going on?
It's pretty cool. It expanded a lot as far as like from where I first started with my style to what I enjoy painting on. Instead of canvases, I'll paint on like furniture or I guess like trash that I find, which is just like shelving and glass, that you find outside of the trash, stuff like that. And then even to like comics. So I've been really influenced by like certain graffiti artists and tattooers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who would
really big one is my favorite one is Lugosis.
Okay.
That's what his Instagram name is. He goes by Lugosis or Lugo. So he makes like these Looney Tune style, cartoon style characters that I think were influenced by, like Looney Tunes and stuff. So I've been really influenced to draw that. That's what I've been drawing lately is like the cartoon characters.
Yeah, man.
Trying to make a story out of them. I have like this series I've been working on called Jailhouse, and it's basically like these characters in like the prison system, and so I'm trying to like find a way to flow all that together.
What inspired the jail system for you to kind of be painting on that?
I just had like a sense of feeling like when I made the first characters. Actually, okay, I remember now. We went antiquing, and I found this old photograph. It was like from 1920s. But it had been enlarged as a large print. And it was like a cop, and there was a dude who had been arrested. And I was like, what if I got this and painted on it like one of my the comic characters the cartoon characters that I've been drawing?
Yeah, man. And
so I was like, well, what if I make him have like one of those, like I turn this guy that's arrested in the photograph and turn him into one of the cartoon characters. So that's where it kind of started. So then I made like guys in jail, and then like I made a new character from that. Because lately they even look like people.
Yeah.
Now I made like characters that look like creatures, I guess.
Yeah, man.
So just very cartoony. That's what I've been really into lately. Trying to find a way to spin off that. But there's been a lot of stuff going on.
So is this going to be like a collection that you're kind of doing of the different pieces? So you'll have multiple different things, and they're all kind of be part of the story, is what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And
nice.
Then eventually, I want to do like make like figurines, like toys, kind of thing. Like
oh, really?
collectibles. Yeah.
I like it, man.
That'd be really cool to do.
No, man, I love to see like the evolution because I love all your stuff, man. That was something that drew me to you originally was your characters because I like seeing different stuff. It's not there's so many different kinds of art, man, and like yours kind of stood out to me because I also am a Keith Haring fan from what I've seen, like, you know, and I remember you said that was kind of an inspiration for a couple pieces, and I think it's really interesting, man. It's cool that you're putting yourself out there, you're making stories, and, you know, like I talked about the art critique here on the podcast many times, actually. I talked about it with Joe whenever I went to the interview at the Safe House, and to be honest, man, I gained a lot of knowledge from there.
Thank you.
It was cool to sit there, and like, I'm sure you know, it's like I wasn't sitting there like raising my hands, like saying stuff, because that's not really like my place because I don't know much about it. Yeah. So it was interesting to hear local artists and, you know, huge artists in Jacksonville sitting there and critiquing crazy, whether it was your work or other people's work, and like hearing how people said it made them feel, or even them giving critiques like, hey, maybe do this next time, and it was very positive. It wasn't like people were on each other's asses. No one was like, you know, fuck you, your art's trash, none of that. It was a very positive event, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I thought it gave people a good, you know, way of looking at other things, or maybe trying different mediums or things of that sort. And it was pretty cool. And it was funny. What is her name? Asian lady, Elena. Thank you. I have such a hard time remembering her name. I remember she walked in, and I don't know who she is because I'm not in the art world. So I walked up to her. I was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Connor. Nice to meet you." Shook her hand and gave her like a sticker for the podcast and stuff. And I saw other people like, "Oh my God, you're here!" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, who did I just talk to? I'm hoping I did not make an ass out of myself. I was just like, I sat there and thought about it, but she was very sweet, and I've kind of kept up with her as well. Like, isn't she in like Japan or?
She's in Japan right now.
Yeah, like
studying a new art form.
Oh, really?
I can't remember. I know it starts with a K, but I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Understand?
But she's like furthering her education in the art world, basically.
Hey, man, good for her.
Mastering another thing,
going to somewhere in Japan, that'd be awesome.
To learn a type of art style.
Yeah, and it was crowdfunded, which I thought was really cool. Like, you know, people basically help support her to go, you know, follow her dream. And I know she's a big name here in Jacksonville now. I know that. At that time when I shook her hand, I had no idea who she was. But no, man, that art event, I feel like did a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And I think it's really cool to see, you know, Jacksonville coming together and supporting local artists. And I feel like there's a lot more of an art scene here in Jacksonville. It keeps growing. New stuff keeps coming up. Every day now I see new art events coming around.
Yeah. It's really crazy to think that, because I think I've said it before. A lot of people ask me like, "How'd you do that? How can I do that?" I mean, it's really like just like try and outreach and branch out and try and just do it, I guess. Because even at that one, I had a show at Superfood and Brew. Yeah. Elena had messaged me saying, "Hey, let's, you know, I want to start doing an event here with your art. We'll have your art up for a month, and the plan is to every month we'll rotate artists."
Oh, nice.
So mine was the first one. So now I think this is like the fourth month where they actually have a new artist. They've done it 4 different artists in a row each month consecutively. They just keep having artists there.
That's cool, man.
It's so crazy that now like it's a concrete thing now. And
is that the one that's downtown, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll do what is it? I can't remember what it's called. I made a thing for it. Sip and sketch. Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, so they're doing that now too, and it's pretty cool, man.
Describe what Sip and Sketch is for people who may not know.
Everyone gets together, and because it's at a restaurant that also serves alcohol, you can sit there, you can eat, you can drink, draw with other people. Kind of like the art critique night we did. We just mingle with other artists, just making new friends.
I love that, man. That's cool.
Big connection-wise. But yeah, Elena's been super, super huge in the community, and she's helped me out a lot.
Funny enough, Superfood and Brew, back when I was working for the Pest Control Company, was one of my clients, so I know which one I used to go in there and like do the treatments and everything. So it's a cool spot because I know they have so much wall space that they put stuff up. Yeah. So I think that's an awesome opportunity for someone who may be thinking about getting into art and didn't really know what they were wanting to do. I think that's cool for them to be able to come in, talk to other local artists, and, you know, see other styles, or, you know, learn something while they're sketching with people, and, you know, have a little liquid courage, have a beer or two, and get to know someone because, you know, some people, it's a little hard to get out there and talk to people, man. Yeah. Luckily, you know, I was born an extrovert. I can talk to a wall if you give me enough time. And then Shannon's a little bit more on the opposite side. Yeah. You know, once you get her talking, she's perfectly fine. Right. But, you know, for that first, like, hey, how you doing? You know, that's really not her style. Usually it's more like I'll introduce her, and then we'll find something that's, you know, she'll find something that's easy for her to talk about. Right. So, like, a lot of times for me, I'll probe people with, like, you know, where are you from? What do you do? You know, and those are kind of, I feel like, things you can play off of and actually have a conversation rather than like, ooh, this is kind of awkward. I don't know how to figure this out. But yeah, man. But like I said, it's been really cool, and I've really enjoyed to see your growth, man. I've seen you do collaborations with other people like Time and Place. I thought that was a really cool collaboration where you guys did the boxes for the sunglasses, and then you guys would go do your drops like around Jacksonville. I thought that was a really cool way of marketing and like showing off your work and everything as well. And I haven't seen Brett in a while. I need to hit that man up, see
He's
what
been working.
Oh yeah, dude. He's always working, man. And that's the thing. I've always seen him posting up new shades. He's got some new materials that he's working with now and everything. It's pretty cool, dude. That's it. The art markets here in Jax are getting big. Do you have any kind of shows coming up or anything kind of planned in the future that you're doing, or are you more focusing on just the work currently?
I'm trying to plan it out. So mentally I'm preparing for it. But I've been talking with other people trying to get it going, like trying to find the right place to have this event. But basically it's an event where because you know how I will draw on the furniture and then I'll go in front of the Cumber Museum on Saturdays and I'll leave it out for people to grab.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So I'll put up my name on the, with a piece of cardboard, and I will leave everything out, and then they'll come and grab it, and it's free to take. So anyway, I'm trying to do something like that, but as a show inside a building space. Yeah. But but the difference is people will bring their own furniture. They'll bring their own furniture. They'll come in and I'll draw on it in front of them. Okay. And then they'll take it, and that's it. Hell yeah, There'll be other vendors in there, maybe shirts to sell, like stuff like that. But that's the I want it to be a very big show. I want it to be very hectic. You know what I mean? Very busy, very hectic.
I understand, man. Goal. And setting it up, I know it takes time. It's not like a 5-second thing, especially at the Cumber Museum. That's a big museum here in Jacksonville. Yeah. And then what else is there? Isn't there one called like Mocha or like something? Yeah, that's another big one as well. Were you involved in any of the Wind Down Wednesdays or anything like that?
I did one of them, yeah.
What was your experience like over there?
It was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. I wish, if I'm being honest, I do wish I got to interact more with people. I feel like no one genuinely was not. They saw what I was doing like live painting for people, all the furniture pieces I did. I feel like maybe it just wasn't the right type of style they liked or something. I did talk to about a handful. I talked to a lot of the vendors. Yeah. Came up and, we all got to get to know each other a little bit. And I talked to maybe at least, about 3 or 4 actual like people that went to Wind Down Wednesday to just hang out and, like an attendee, I guess. Yeah, man. I only talked to a few people. I understand. Like, hey, what's this? What's going on? But other than that, it was cool. It was just very loud.
Oh yeah, I'm sure from what I saw, there's a bunch of vendors and musicians all throughout, and they do like live shows and everything from what I've seen, right?
It was a super cool event, like that space. The event itself was pretty cool.
Is that the Glass Factory?
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. I actually have to go check that out as well. I think it would be a cool event, and I've been talking with them. Definitely want to go out there and even just shoot some content. I think it'd be cool to go, me and Shan go out there with our camera, kind of do some like, who are you on the street, and go say what's up to people. And no, it looks cool, dude. And it's cool that these events are popping up where it's giving people opportunities to put their work in front of more people. Right. Because that's really the hardest thing nowadays, especially with social media, where there's people with multi-million followers, and like a lot of people are paying attention to these celebrities, and we're all trying to make our way into that circle sooner or later, or at least hopefully get seen by more people. And unfortunately, it just takes time, man. That's the way I look at it. It's a long game, and obviously, you still do art just because you personally enjoy it. Yeah. And did I see that you had like an anniversary of like 1 year of you? Yeah. So
it's been about a year, I think. Yeah, about a year.
And that was a year of you like really pushing and going into art and like finding your style.
I think years when I bought a canvas for the first time, I was like, oh, I'll paint on a canvas. So that's when I got a couple brushes, some paint, and then the canvas. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a painting, and so I did, because I went from drawing on bicycles and helmets and all the parts to like, all right, I want to do this on a canvas. Actually, I think I want to be an artist.
Yeah. So as I saw the bike. Was it, I guess, the body of the bike, whatever you want to call it, the frame. Thank you, that's the word I was looking for. I thought that was cool, man. Like you had it up, and you had your son sitting there with it above him and everything. I thought that was super cute, man. It's cool, dude. Yeah. And like I said, just to see the growth, man. One of my favorite things about doing this podcast is seeing the growth of people after, And I'm not sitting here saying it's on me who did it. It's you guys doing the work, and it's just cool to see. Someone says they're going to do something, and then they do it. Yeah. They don't just drop off. That's the thing that sucks when you see someone who was like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then you never see him on anything else again. You're like, damn, man, what happened? Like, I wonder what happened and everything.
You know something crazy? Yeah. So I keep thinking about it. I get really excited when I think about it. I'm leaving. Well, yeah, I'm leaving. My orders were going to my orders are going to be back in Texas. So I'm going to get
What?
orders to Texas in 2 years.
Dang.
So I'm leaving here in 2 years, 2 more years here. I'm going back to Texas for about a year and a half. So I'm going to bring the art with me if I have time to do it, because I'll be going back to school
Okay.
for the Navy. So yeah, I'm going to be in Texas doing the same thing I'm doing now, but there.
That's crazy.
There's big artists there, so I'm excited to see
What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
Okay, so you're not going to
Yeah.
be too far from like Austin and all that. There's a big scene from what I've seen over there.
Yep.
That'd be cool, dude.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, what can I do there? So maybe things will get a little bigger.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about leaving Jacksonville?
I feel good.
Do you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not really kind of get attached to places? Are you like, okay, I'm good, just go to the next spot? Yeah. I guess that's kind of a military thing, right?
Because I grew up, my parents were in the Navy, so we'd live in a place for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we just leave.
Gotcha.
So I'm super used to the whole don't get connected kind of thing. Of course, I love Jacksonville. I've made a lot of friends here. I have had a lot of, I guess you want to say life-changing moments where I met people and events that have changed my life. Back home in Bakersfield, where I'm from, it was all about cycling. Like, I had my community of people that I'd ride bicycles with, and it was very like tight-knit community. It felt like a family. And then coming here, it's like this, I have this new extended family, and it feels very, I guess because everyone's my age.
Yeah.
So it feels a lot more, it's hard to explain.
No, you're good,
It's like
man.
imagine going to a new school and everyone likes you.
Yeah.
You're not just getting bullied because you're brand new. That's how it was growing up as a kid. But
I understand, man. I say kids are ruthless. Kids are still ruthless to this day. They'll say something, you're like, damn, man, that hurt. I'm like 25 years old. I'm like, that really kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Shit. But
that's
no.
what it feels like. Jacksonville's cool.
Well, at least I'm glad that you had a good, feeling here. You didn't you weren't an outcast or felt like an outcast when you came here. People supported you.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, man, because a lot of people have a weird look on Jacksonville, think it's kind of like not close knit and everything. And I'm like, there's a lot of people here. If you just reach out and you just talk to people, you never know what kind of situation you'll get in, man.
Yeah.
And it's been cool to see your growth of the art. You've changed many things. You've gotten into new mediums, or like even I remember I saw you make those characters like OG Session Pod. You made like actual little characters that you can post up on stuff, and like I feel like you're working on digital art a little bit too. Is that what I've seen?
Yeah, that's the cartoon stuff.
Okay, so that's digital.
Yeah, that'd be like the digital stuff.
Gotcha. What kind of made you want to get into the digital side of things?
Well, so I've always used my iPad to like sketch and draw, so it's always been there. But more so because I have more time. I have a lot of downtime at work. Sometimes we don't have as many patients, so whenever I'm about to leave work, I'll have an extra hour of downtime, and then I'll just draw or sketch on my iPad. And then I might finish it when I go home. But yeah, it's because I have more time to draw on the iPad than I do it. I'm not going to sit on my iPad at home when I got my kids that want to hang out with me.
I understand.
I mean?
Yeah,
sometimes I do, but
you're doing your thing, man. We all, everybody has their downtime. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm sure the kids keep you pretty busy, obviously.
Yeah.
How's it been going with the family? And the kids they're growing from what I've seen, man, which is cool. So obviously you have your little one, very, very little one. And how old is your oldest right now? 4, man. That's kind of wild to think.
School.
That's wild, dude. Is that crazy for you?
Yeah.
I was to say, because, how old are you again?
I'm going to be 27, and I don't even know what today is.
Today is the 3rd, August 3rd.
In 8 days.
Dang.
27 in 8 days, yeah.
That's crazy, man. I was like, I'm 25, and, me and Shannon don't have any kids or anything yet, so.
Yeah, you're 25.
Yeah, dude. I was say we're I don't even feel like it, man. That's something I've talked about a lot recently, is just how fast time goes by. Right. I remember when me and her were 18 years old and just moving, or I was 18, she was 19, just moving into an apartment together, and,
crazy.
having roommates and everything, and now we're married and everything now, which is crazy. We're going on 1 year in October for our 1 year marriage. It's just time flies, dude. And now we're working big people jobs, grown up jobs, and trying to make something of ourselves, dude. Trying to get a house sooner or later and have some kids and do our thing, man. That's
do whatever you want first. Once the kids are here, you're not gonna. Have family here.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So then they can watch the kids, but...
We are lucky about that, and we have a pretty close-knit family. Like, my family is very close, so, like, my dad lives a mile away from us. My mom lives a mile away from us. So I could literally, like, jog over to their house and go say hi. And we all spend time pretty frequently. Like, we'll go play cards with my dad's side of the family on the weekends, or my mom has a pool. We'll go sit there and just have a pool day, have some beers and hang out. And just... We're very lucky where we have a close-knit group. And then Shan's mom was here as well for a little while, but she moved back to Ohio. They had more friends up there and needed some help with her grandmother as well, because she's getting a little older. And they have a cool little spot. They're in a place called Worcester. It's very small town, but it's a pretty little town. It's how far would you say away from Akron, Shannon? 30 minutes from Akron, Ohio. So, yeah, but it's a cool little spot. We went up there and checked out the new house recently. It was cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I'm very lucky, and we're both very lucky where we have family that supports us and is interested in us and everything. So it's cool, man. But it'll be an interesting change when we have kids. I'm interested to see the kind of child we produce and, you know, either how big or how small and, you know, because I'm pretty tall and she's kind of little. So it'll be interesting to see what we create.
Might be tall. I love seeing when you post the pictures of the people on the... I want to tell you, but I don't want to offend you or be rude.
You're not offending me. Go.
Freaking tall, dude.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
You're like taller than most people.
Yeah, that's the thing is I've been a tall guy my whole life.
Yeah.
So what you guys see, I feel like I'm just used to it kind of thing. Like when people are like smaller than me and I'm looking down on someone like height wise.
Always looking down on people.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
no one you're ever looking like.
I have a couple friends who are like close to my height and everything. It's just more something I'm just used to. But like for me, I feel like probably what you guys feel like, you know, your height's just normal. So I don't think like I'm overly tall. And then I'll see a picture. I'm like, damn, I am pretty big compared to them. And some people are like, why we got to take this picture?
You could hit the doorway if you.
Yeah, right? If I jump.
If you jump, you'll hit the doorway.
If I jump, I'll smack my head on the doorway.
If you do a tiny jump.
Yeah, I would say because I'm like 6'4", 6'5"-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
I don't know why I was thinking 7 feet.
Oh, God, no. If I was 7 feet tall.
I was thinking 7 feet tall. I was like.
Oh, my body would hurt. Yeah, I can't imagine. But yeah, like I'm over the normal height kind of thing. Yeah. And like with me, whenever I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, I was 6'3" going in, and then grew another couple inches while I was there. So like 6'4", 6'5"-ish, and then I just kind of stopped, thankfully. Because my knees hurt, my back hurt, man. I can't be getting any bigger than what I am now. And especially as now I'm sitting and doing an office job, dude. I sit there and get tight now. I'm just like, I'm used to like moving and grooving, doing the pest control stuff. So it's weird for me just to be sitting in one spot. But to talk about a little bit more so the military side of things, you said you were going to be going back to school. What are you going to be going back to school for?
Biomed tech. So basically I'll fix all the medical equipment. I go to school to learn about how everything works electronically, physically, data stuff, like basically however a medical machine operates. I'm going to be learning how that operates and then learning how to fix it. Every type of medical piece of equipment.
Is this something for you to use in the military? Okay, I didn't know if this was like something like when you got out, you can go do something else. I
get a certification for it. So if I wanted to get out of the Navy, well, first, if I go to the school, I have to do an automatic 4 or 5 years.
Oh, really?
Under that specialty. It's called a specialty.
Okay.
Or an NEC. I have to re-enlist for another 5 years. So before I leave here, I'll re-enlist. I'll go to the school. I'll automatically get a rank up. I'll rank up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
To E5. I'm E3 right now.
But you bounce up 2 for that, right?
Yeah, I go up 2.
That's pretty solid.
I'm ranking up to E4 in June next year.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be a part of the process. I didn't know if you just made that jump to E5. I was like, damn, that's a pretty jump.
If you were like E2 or E3, then you make that jump. Because I've been in for so long, I'm going to be E4 next year.
Is an E5 and E4 like pretty high in the military? What does that kind of mean?
So E1 through E3 is like when you go to a job, you're pretty green still. You're pretty new. Yeah. You're the little guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
E4 is finally petty officer in the Navy. It's a 3rd class.
Okay.
And then E5 is 2nd class.
Gotcha.
E6 is 1st class. And then E7 through E9, those are the chiefs, like Master Chief, Senior Chief.
So those are the higher
guys,
ups.
Yeah, those are the guys who are in charge of everybody.
Yeah, but you're making your way up, man. I know in the military, it's not just like you just automatically pop up. You got to do your grit work and do the shit work for a little while and then make your way up. But from what it sounds like, man, you're bettering yourself, going to go get more education. That's cool, man. And you're going to go to a new spot in Texas, which I think is cool. I've thought about moving to Texas a bunch of times.
Yeah, we came from San Antonio. That's where the first part of my schooling was to become hospital corpsman. We were there for I was there for 7 months, but it was a pretty interesting place to live. I didn't really get to do a whole lot there because I was only off like a day or two where I was allowed to leave base.
Gotcha.
And go hang out with my family. I maybe got like 20-something days to actually check the place out.
Oh, really?
For
like a whole year? How long were you there for?
7 months.
Oh, wow. Only 20 days? That was 7 months?
Sometimes, I got to spend the night at my own apartment that I paid for where I brought my wife and my son to live at because I was there for so long. I maybe spent the night there 3 times.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Or you just having to stay on base?
I had to stay in the barracks because I'm in a student status.
Okay.
So even though I have a family and they're here, I can't.
They're like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Exactly.
The military is funny, man. Obviously, I'm not a military person, so I can't talk because I've never experienced it. But I always hear funny things about the military.
There's people before me who ruined it for everyone else.
Yeah,
So
I guess that's a good point.
Smoke and drink, and you can't drink in the barracks. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't.
Really, it's like that now. I didn't realize it was that stringent on that.
Yeah.
And I guess you're Navy, right? So maybe different branches are different, or maybe it's kind of like a range.
Yeah.
Say because we have a friend, her really good friend Jay. She's in the Air Force and she's stationed in what part of Georgia? Robinson Air Force Base.
Yeah.
So that's where she's at, and she works more like data entry and does stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she says she really enjoys it, and she may be re-enlisting for another couple years or something like that from what we've talked about. But it's cool for them. They actually have on station or on base like housing, so they have like condos and everything, so they're able to keep their family, and they go there at the end of the night. And we actually got to go on the base because we went to visit them. I've never been on a military base and actually walked around. It was crazy to see how big it was, to be honest.
It's pretty big.
It's wild, to see the obviously them being Air Force, they have planes and everything around. It was crazy to see all the big aircraft carriers and like where they actually put the planes while they're getting worked on and everything. I just find it interesting because for someone who looks from the outside, not in there kind of thing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. And I mean, what you do is crazy too, dude. You basically help save people's lives.
Yeah,
I would say that's pretty wild to think about.
Yeah, I'm going to be transferring because right now I work in mental health. I'm going to be transferring to the emergency department.
Okay,
that's what I really would like to do because that's part of my job is being able to help people like not emergency medicine, but the main part of corpsman is like hospital care and then tactical combat casualty care.
So if someone gets shot, blown up,
be prepared.
Yeah,
and working in mental health, it's more of you're basically talking with people. Doing like mental health assessments with them, seeing how they're feeling, getting them medicine if they need it, getting their vitals. That's it.
I got you.
I rarely will get to draw someone's blood or...
You want a little more action kind of thing.
Exactly,
hey, I understand.
So I'm more prepared in case something does happen, I do get deployed or something like that.
Yeah, so. That's some real shit, you know. It's a crazy world we're living in right now. I'm sure seeing all the stuff you see on the news and everything, man, it's crazy as fuck, dude. Just to think that, and like I said, this isn't a political talk in any way, shape, or form, but it's crazy to see that we had a presidential candidate get shot at in our lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
That's kind of wild to think, man.
Yeah.
Because, we always heard about JFK and obviously, he got taken out, but and then Reagan, but to see something in our lifetime, that's actually a very historic event. It's crazy to see, dude. We're in some crazy times right now, man. And, we had that cyber attack or the whole breakdown of something cybersecurity. What was it? It was with Microsoft or...
Yeah.
That
I heard something about BlackRock was doing. There's something about you guys ever heard of BlackRock?
I know what you're talking about. It's a big hedge fund kind of thing.
Yeah. So supposedly they own all Microsoft and they own everything, and they turned it off for something. They're trying to erase.
Oh really?
Dump data or something.
Oh shit!
They had to turn everything off for a bit.
Update it
or something.
Yeah.
No, I'm really big into conspiracy theories, but there's so many ones. The craziest one about how they say some people say George Bush did 9/11. So I've met, I don't want to say it, but I've met people in the military who are from Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
They are the guards there. So this guy was in the Army. He was basically, his job is they basically just babysit the prisoners at Guantanamo Bay. And these prisoners they're from ISIS or from Al Qaeda.
They're the worst of the worst, pretty much.
They've been there for 30 years. They're terrorists.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, well, do you think that this conspiracy George Bush did 9/11? He's like, no, dude, these guys that I'm watching all day, they talk about it. They will throw in our faces when they get upset at us. He said that they get YouTube there's a TV, they have this main room, kind of like a regular jail.
Yeah.
Where there's a main room where they all eat and hang out.
And watch TV
they have
and everything.
TVs on a column that, there's a bunch of TVs on each side of the column. And they said that this one guy flipped out because he didn't get to watch YouTube or something that he wanted. And so he was basically harassing the guards, yelling at him. And they would throw 9/11 in their faces yeah, that's why I did, that's why we helped plan it. And so he believes that, it was a real thing done.
Yeah.
And then they even did recently they came out with the two guys who planned it, who were super planned it. They're at we call it Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
They're there right now, and they did a plea deal recently because they didn't want them to get executed. So they're going to do this deal where if they said that we're guilty for, I think it was the 2,900 lives
from
9/11.
Yeah.
We're going to say we're guilty and we won't get executed. but they have to admit that they did it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. So when it
weird.
comes, so in my thought process, I feel like death penalty. I understand. You can be on either side of it, kind of thing. And obviously, what they did is horrendous. I mean, that's one of the, if not the darkest day in American history in a very, very long time. I just feel like if you just kill someone, I feel like that's a little bit of an easy way out. Obviously, death is really like obviously the ultimate sacrifice or whatever it is. But also, I feel like they're not really. I'm not trying to sound like dark, but like they're not suffering. You just basically just made it easy for them and they're dead and whatever it is. I feel like them actually serving. I feel like them more serving out their sentence, getting to feel, which they'll never feel what these families have felt, from that situation. But no, it's a crazy thing, man, to think about people wanting to hurt each other. It really is a wild situation. And,
very strange the way that people are now.
They're getting tribalized, man. Like with this whole like political, like the whole debates and all this stuff, man, I really don't give a fuck about either one of these candidates. I feel like at the end of the day, they're all fucking liars to us and they're not doing what we want. That's my personal opinion. That's not anybody else's. That's more my opinion.
You know something funny?
Yeah.
So I own a few grand in student loans from like 2018 that when I was trying to go to school, I did like online school, right? So I went to school for a semester and then I stopped going. I just was like, you know what, this accounting, finance one is just not for me.
I understand.
So I stopped going. I never applied it to anything, right? Anyway, Nelnet, FAFSA, they called me and they're like, hey, it's time to, pay it. I thought I was waiting for the whole, Biden was going to do the student loan forgiveness.
Oh, that's right.
So I told them that. I said, well, can I qualify for the the Biden student loan forgiveness? They said that's not implemented yet. I was like, what do you mean? But his presidency's almost over.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, well, there's not a thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, really? I was like, what? Like, so.
No, I agree, dude.
Whole student loan thing, and then
a lot of these
BS,
candidates,
man.
they just run on stuff, man. And I'm like, you're lying, bro. It's just one of those things, and it's not just us who thinks that, dude. That's 99% of America right now. We're all looking at each other like, why the fuck is shit going on right now?
Did you know that there's a job where you can go to school for this job? You go to school. It's a job where your job is basically to wine and dine politicians.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. Huh? I forgot what it's called. There's a name for that. You can wine and dine a politician. Isn't that crazy?
Well, dude, so think about this. So, like, our country is one of the only countries that does commercials for pharmaceuticals. And I think it's us, New Zealand, and like one other country. I could be wrong on this, so fact check me in the comments. But we're one of the only countries that is like we promote pharmaceuticals. So like what's the one where people are like using it to get skinny? It's
Ozempic.
Ozempic, thank you. It's a diabetes drug.
I love talking about Ozempic because of South Park.
Yeah, that's funny.
Have you seen that episode?
I've seen clips of it and everything, but it's crazy that we're promoting things that aren't good for us. That's the biggest thing. Man. I mean, just from those to our food here in the United States, man, most of everything in the middle aisles of a grocery store is bullshit. It's not good for you. And I talk about this, I don't eat well. I was like, I'll admit that. I eat bullshit. I eat cheeseburgers, do all that stuff. But it's crazy that we're getting fed on a daily basis shit that's going to make us sick. And then they're pushing these drugs on us as well, which is kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
And, they're using us getting sick to make money.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just a circle of money just getting transferred and everything.
All this place is. I'm trying to save up money for my listen bonus and all my tax returns. Because the goal is to live possibly in Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands.
That'd be awesome.
Somewhere just away from here, because this country seems more of like an industrial, concrete, fast food. There's like 4 different fast food chains just on like 3 blocks.
Oh, dude, you go down the street from us, there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah,
I agree.
And that's all it is. It's commercial. It's like a monopoly here, man.
Yeah, and companies like, the same company that owns like Taco Bell owns like, not Chick-fil-A, but just for example, but like owns Chick-fil-A, and then they own this other one. They own Walmart and all this other stuff.
There's nowhere to even walk where we live that's safely. You can't even ride a bike here without getting hit.
Oh,
you can't even go for a walk without someone running you over.
I agree, man.
Over in Europe, like I have a friend who lives in Germany. He's just cycling. The roads they have, you could barely fit to a 2-way lane for cars. It's only for cycling.
Oh, really?
It's mainly for that's public transportation is the most important thing for transportation over in Europe.
Yeah.
There's no like, that's why all the cars are smaller.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's no trucks. There's no.
It's not like here where they're driving a big F-350 driving around, a dually.
They're not even hauling anything, They just have the truck just to put lights on it. And
it's just vibes. Everybody's just trying to grow, man. Like for me, dude, I want more of a simple life. I want me and Shannon to get to the point where we make enough money where we can go buy a piece of land
That's it.
You know, have a house, you know, add stuff to the house, you know, put some different things on the property, and then just live life, man. I don't want to be able to like touch my neighbor's house. That's the thing I don't like. And I feel
you can hear them from through the wall, you know.
Luckily enough, we're here. Like here, we're pretty lucky. All our neighbors, we don't know any of our neighbors, but everybody's quiet. To be honest with you, a lot of times it's just mostly families that live here, so it's like it makes it easier, and you know it's a little bit of a nicer neighborhood. But no, dude, we lived in those kinds of apartments. The one we had before we moved here, dude, it rained inside of our apartment. A girl, yeah, dude, a freaking so a girl. We were on the ground floor. Girl moved up to the second floor, right above our unit, and the people maintenance didn't connect their washing machine correctly to the wall where the water drains out into the wall. So she started a load of laundry left to go to work. And we wake up and there's water, like, you know, those lights that are hanging over the right there. There's water coming out of those. There's water coming out of our corners of our ceiling and everything. Wow. It was literally raining in our apartment. And that happened, and they didn't give us anything to like mop anything up, none of that stuff. We called emergency maintenance, didn't give us a break on rent. Our AC was out for what, like 2 years, Shannon? Our AC didn't work. They would put like Freon in it, and then it would go out in a week, man. Oh, yeah. So I understand the vibe, man. And, you know, people are breaking into people's cars and shit and all this other stuff. I'm just getting tired. I can't stand
people, man. I saw a video where they're like, do not come out here and lose your life over a car. There's like a bunch of dudes trying to steal this guy's Corvette. Yeah. And like, if you come out here, we're going to shoot you.
Until I walk out there with my AR and I blast your ass real quick. I don't
understand people, man. They just, I don't know.
People don't value life anymore, man. You go on social media and like I feel like it's people getting desensitized to it. Like you go on Twitter, man. I cannot open X or Twitter without someone getting their head blown off. I don't understand why. Or like they show like the Ukraine war and like what's going on in Russia.
Crazy?
It is, dude. And like, you know, like it doesn't fuck me up. It's obviously it's rough to see, but also I know it's a thing, not normal, excuse me. It's a thing that happens, you know, obviously in war. Yeah. But, you know, if I was wanting to see that or do that, I'd join the military to go do this kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's not what my vibe is, bro. I'm trying to, like, you know, support people, give you happy kind of thing, because there's already enough part of life that's dark and sad and all this stuff, man. You got to focus on the happier parts or you're not going to really make it through this world kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's why kids are so... There's 18, 19-year-olds shooting people.
Oh yeah, man, it's terrible.
The school shootings. It's always like every time you see a school shooting happen, the shooter is always like some really young kid, and there's living at home with grandma and grandpa, and there's something wrong with them.
That they got bullied, or like, you know, they, as you said, you know, just didn't have like a sense of direction, like with their parents, and just stuff.
It's like shit. Like, do what most people do. What most people do that live a life like that. They become homeless, or they become like a crackhead,
or sometimes they get real successful, man. Yeah, you know what I mean. It depends on who it is.
I'm gonna go in. They're gonna go and shoot up a school. Like, where do you? Why? Just go work at McDonald's. Like, do something. Just start somewhere. Like, why? Why plan out a shooting? Like, that doesn't make sense, man.
I think where that comes into play, I really do think like social media is like the devil, man, in a lot of ways. And, you know, like, I know I'm saying this as someone who posts stuff on YouTube and even like, you know, TikTok, Facebook, all the normal spots, but I don't sit there and like, if I see someone do something, I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to go do that. I don't see as like social media as the real world. You know, obviously if I see my friends' clips or someone I'm interested that's a creator where they're posting stuff, like for me, like I'm really into golf. So I play golf. Like literally after this interview, I'm going to go play golf today.
Nice.
And I watch a guy named like Bob Does Sports or like Foreplay and all that stuff, but it's positive. You know, it's not like I don't look for just bad shit. And I feel like some people just like they see a video game, or that was the thing. I remember whenever I was growing up and I was playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, same.
Did your parents ever say, you know, like, don't think this is real, blah, 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 like, don't do it?
They would say, well, they were okay with us playing, like, you know, Battlefield or Call of Duty or GTA.
Yeah.
I don't think my parents saw any signs that I was going to be
one of those people.
One of those people doing that stuff in real life. Because it's like, is a video game really that influencing? Yeah, it might desensitize you to violence. And war movies do the same thing for our parents. Yeah. Growing up, they saw a war movie like Pearl Harbor. Now they're going to be desensitized and stuff like that. But, I mean, I don't know what it is, why people... It's the same thing with suicide. Like, why do people do it?
Yeah.
You know, why do people go shoot up school? Why? There's something deeply, deeply wrong in their mind. to where they decide to do that.
And I mean, you worked in the mental health side of things. Like, I'm sure, has anybody, obviously, I know you're not going to talk about a patient specifically, but have you ever had situations where people were like talking about suicide and going through that and everything? And do they ever give like a reason to why they feel like they want to do that?
Yeah, it's always a reason. It's always like they have a lot. So the biggest thing is like, what are your stressors in life? And it's always the same thing. It's work, family, money.
The big common things,
Big common thing, divorce, lost my mom or dad, lost my husband died or something like that. But it's the way we cope with it. I think that's what your ability to cope with things is what I guess shows you have, I don't want to say a healthy mind, but if you can cope with something properly, right, then you're not going to do anything to hurt yourself.
Exactly.
Like you really, like we do get a lot of people who are like, I'm going to drive off the bridge, I'm going to jump, but they make a plan. They have an intention for the plan, but they never really do it. There's a part of them they're not going to, I don't think they will do it.
There's a part that's holding them back.
There's a coping, there's something in their mind that's coping. Then but I had a patient, I lost a patient.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No. They came to the unit and they left. But there was something, they didn't have the ability to cope anymore. There's a thing where I think it's females that reach like by the age of 19. No, it's males when they're 19, you can develop schizophrenia. Yeah. At the age of 19, it just happens. Yeah. And then when you're older as a female, it can happen around like 25 or 26, I believe.
Really? Okay.
So, it could randomly happen. That's when that comes in, and you don't really know what you're doing. You're having psychosis. You're being manic. You don't really have control over what you're thinking or doing.
No, I agree with you, man.
Add on a big stressor, like someone just passed away, or your life is just, you feel like your life is falling apart. Well, you're not thinking. Yeah. So you're just going to do it.
You're acting off emotion rather than like logical thought and everything.
It's all gone, yeah.
No, I agree with you, man. And like, I've talked to you about like mental health on here before, and that's like a big talking point for us as well. As like, if I didn't talk about my shit, I wouldn't be here today. Yeah. But the way I've also grown to look at it as well is like, I feel like taking yourself out, and this is my opinion, this isn't everybody's opinion. I feel like doing that to yourself, you may be stopping your pain, but you're growing other people's pain, because there's probably one person in the world that cares about you. Most times there is. Yeah. At least one. And I feel like, like if I took myself out and like committed suicide or everything, that's going to ruin her life. That's going to ruin my family's life. Yeah. I'm their son, I'm her husband, and it's a ripple effect. And I feel like in some parts it's selfish in some ways, because you're not understanding what impact you're doing to this. Right. And that's, it's grand impact. You're taking yourself out. You're erasing yourself from this earth. Yeah. And that's a bigger thing than I think a lot of people think about, because we don't know what happens when we go. You don't, whether it's reincarnation or whatever it is, or, if there is heaven or there is hell, whatever it is. Yeah. And I just feel like there's a lot more to it. And I feel like, acting off emotion is never really the right thing to do, because, maybe the next day you'll wake up and you're like, I don't know why I was thinking that. I feel better. Yeah. And I feel like if someone could take that time or take a moment to really think it through before acting, like you said, on emotion, it could change a lot of things. But also, people go through hard things, man. I've been at rough points in my life too, very, very rough, and I'm sure you have as well. And there's been moments you're like, "Fuck, man! Like, am I going to make it out of this? Yeah. Am I really going to make something out of my life?" And I feel like that's where people don't look at the future; they only look at what they're dealing with right now.
Yeah, it's a very like mysterious, not mystery. Yeah, it's like a mystery. You never really know, because we could be saying the same thing. Hey, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we could be saying like, yeah, I do this to cope. I'm going to be okay. We'll never really know what a person's really thinking.
Because sometimes they don't tell you exactly what.
Look at Robin Williams.
Yeah, one of the happiest everybody thought.
Depended on him and love him, and for some reason he thought, "Hey, this is just what I'll do." There's no like logical reason why anyone would do that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's very. I don't know. It's just something we'll never know.
No, I agree with you, man.
We'll never figure out.
The mind is a weird thing, because we all think differently. That's the thing that's kind of crazy about it, is like, you may have an opinion on something that I've spoke about that's different than mine, which is understandable, because like I don't look at everything I say as fact. It's more of just how I view things, and that's why like doing the podcast, I've learned different perspectives from talking to people. Yeah. And when it comes to the mind, man, it's just like I'll think that's blue, and someone's like, no, that's green. I'm like, okay, what the fuck are we talking about here? But it just shows you the difference in people. Everybody's different in some way, shape, or form. Everybody has a different thought process, different mentality on things, and I guess that's what makes humans interesting, cool, but also it's scary at the same time, because of how much there could be a difference.
Right.
But nah, man, it's a crazy thing out there. But the world we'll get there, man. That's the way I've been looking at it. You know,
so.
Once we get through this election period and all this BS is finally over, where people can stop looking at the differences and kind of come together, I feel like
I'm kind of like, now you say that, I'm like who's gonna be the president? Like, I don't. Really, I don't, like, politically wise, I don't see anything getting better. I don't know,
man.
People are just still going to be hating each other. And
why do we have people who are like 70 and 80 years old who are?
That's what I'm saying.
They're going to make things. They're going to make changes to the United States that they'll be gone and dead to ever even see. Yeah. And meanwhile, it's us who are going to have to deal with it. You know, I'm not saying put a fucking 25-year-old in office. I'm not saying that. You know,
it could be helpful if you put the right person.
It could be.
It could be really helpful.
You're not wrong. You know, there's very mature people out there, and there's also veterans. You know, out there like not Nancy Pelosi. Fuck now. What's her name? Tulsi Gabbard. Like she was a U.S. veteran. I don't know if she was Army or Navy. I forgot. But you know, like someone I feel like who actually fought for the country. I feel like those would make good like politicians rather than these people who are just making millions of dollars, even though their paycheck is $200,000 a year, but somehow they're able to trade and make, you know, $40 million in a year. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
To me, it's so weird because Biden right now is technically my boss, because you go up to like the chain of command, right?
He's like, commander in chief, right?
Yeah, he's above like the admirals. Why?
Yeah,
you never like. Why do you get that title or that rank? You never
served.
Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous. Then every president's been known that, but I just think that's so silly.
No, you're not wrong, dude. And as someone, you're in the military, dude. This is, you know, you have the right to have that point of view. And I guess I've never really thought about that. That's a good point. They just automatically get that rank up there.
Here you go. Well, you don't wear a uniform. He doesn't know how to put on the uniform. He doesn't know how to do this or face nothing.
Yeah, man. And they have the keys to the nuclear football that you can just be walking around with. And I feel like that's the scariest thing is what we're getting into now, man. It's, you know, war, and this is also another my opinion kind of thing, but the thought of war is different now. I don't think it's the same thing as what people thought of like World War II, World War I, where we would go to other countries and just start like, you know, having a full out war. I feel like it's more like cyber stuff. You know, it's like cyber attacks or like what we got going on now with like the border, like people coming and crossing our borders like nobody's business, and we don't know who all is coming across. I feel like that's the scarier thing because, you know, you'll see in other states where people are getting attacked by, you know, immigrants and everything. And I feel like I understand why people want to come to our country. You know, 100% understand because, you know,
a lot easier here than over there.
Yeah, you know, there's running water, there's food, you know, like your resources are more readily available here than, you know, some other countries, and we're more developed than most countries. And like I understand, you know, if I was someone in somewhere where, you know, I grew up and the floor is, you know, I have a tin roof and dirt floor and everything, and I see what's going on in America, and I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely go and do that as well. And there's those people, but then we were just talking about terrorists as well. There's those people as well who are going to be trying to come across, and that's the scarier thing for me. Yeah, because even me and Shannon were talking about, like, we're going to go get our firearms, man. Go get some firearms and stuff. And it's not like to go walk around with. It's more of just home defense, kind of that kind of stuff. Right. And it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, wow, I really never really wanted to get to that point. But I feel like nowadays, man, it's just you never know. And if I'm not with her, she's little. I'd much rather her defend herself and ask questions later any day of the week than her not be here anymore. And I feel like she feels the same way, vice versa.
Right. Yeah. Living in Jacksonville, I've never... Because we're coming, okay, so for the immigrants topic that we're just discussing, back home in Bakersfield, it's an agricultural city. It's nothing but ag stuff, farming. So who does all that work? It's immigrants. You know what I mean? It's I say majority of the town's population is Hispanic, and these are people that they either barely don't speak English. They literally just came across from the border. All those towns surrounding Bakersfield, Wasco, Lamont, Delano, Arvin, it's like all Hispanic. And that area, that town is, I think, it's one of the most dangerous cities in the United States as far as like crime.
Is it really?
It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had our car stolen here. Yeah. They stole my motorcycle there. They cut out the part of our exhaust, the catalytic converter.
They took your catalytic converter? That's happened here in Jax before too, but that sucks,
But they're breaking your car. There's so much drugs. You go to California, so California in general is bad.
Yeah.
You go to Bakersfield, all you see is people walking around with no clothes on, You see a lot of drugs. You see a lot of people just. It's like what you see for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that there.
Is Skid Row around there, or is that more?
Skid Row's Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. Because I've seen
an hour and a half away from where we live.
Gotcha. Because I've seen that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a guy. It's he does a YouTube. It's called Soft White Underbelly.
Yeah, I watch.
Okay, so you know him. So he he'll pull people off the street and do interviews with them and everything.
Exactly what Bakersfield's like. It is exactly like
really.
That. So I'm not going to say it's because I don't want to say it, but I mean, like, people can figure it out. Like, okay, they're closer to the border where people are coming over. Look what that area is like.
And there's different rules in different countries as well. That's the thing. I feel like there's a disconnect for some people here. They're like, why are people acting this way? It's like they're coming from where they learn their rules. It'd be like us. It's like us going to other countries where, we think like what our rules are the same over there. It's not.
I feel like too, it's, I saw a statistic really, I don't know if it's, well, I want to say it is. I didn't fact check it is what I'm trying to say. But I'm guessing whatever the statistic was put out by one of these politicians, they're like, statistically speaking, a lot of these immigrants that are coming over, a good amount of them they have prior arrest records.
Yeah.
They have drug affiliation.
Yep.
And then, the United States is like a huge market for drugs. So, of course, there's just going to be more outlet and people getting let in and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've seen, I'd say majority of the families in Bakersfield, Lamont, Arvin that are immigrant families, they're good people. They just work. But then there are other people that get over here and they just want to take advantage of everything.
Yeah, man.
This is like how they survive, so and stuff. So that's why it's bad over there.
Another thing that I find that's crazy that's still a thing here is like fentanyl, man. Like the amount of fentanyl, I feel like that's an act of like war. You know what I mean? Like China and other countries sending that stuff, and obviously there's a demand here in the United States for it because people use the drug, but like. To think of something that, the size of your pinky nail, that much fentanyl can kill you.
Yeah.
And people are taking it willingly or even a lot of times unknowing. They think they're getting people who do pop pills or do other kinds of narcotics, man. It's not like when it was with our parents, where people could kind of recreationally mess around and do different kinds of substances or drugs in general. And, they would go home at the end of the night. Nowadays, man, there's people are having to carry Narcan everywhere with them now because you never know. Someone's going to either you or someone else is just going to go out from a drug that you took. You thought, this will be fun, blah, 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 blah. It's just a scary thought, man. It's just the world's a scary place. But there's also other good things happening, though. There's some good, there's some change. I know we're talking about a lot of doom and gloom because.
Oh, I know. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. Yeah. This is an interesting conversation because it's a real thing, dude. That's what's happening in our country. It's not like we can't ignore it. That's not a thing that you can ignore. If you ignore it, it's just going to continue to get worse. And I feel like a lot more people are talking about it openly now. Like, what the fuck is going on? Because that's something I've talked about. Me and Shannon talk about this, and when we're here, I'm like, "Do you see this today?" And we're looking at each other like, "What the hell is going on, dude?" And it's a crazy thing, but I feel like that's the issue with we were talking about the internet. I feel like the internet's really what's messing with it because we're really seeing what the effect of social media, just having internet, having information at the tip of your fingers now for over 20-30 years now. We're really seeing the effects of how it changes people and how we all used to go outside and play on our bikes and we weren't attached to our phone all day. And it's a crazy spot, man, but I do feel like things will get better. I feel like there's ebbs and flows to everything that we do in life. That's the main thing I try to look at it. Much try to be optimistic than pessimistic on this because you don't want to just live your life thinking nothing's ever going to get better. Because we never know what can happen in the future. Maybe someone comes up and is a better leader than one other leader that we had and makes good change. But it's just going to take time, man. And at the end of the day, all I can control is what I do with my life and try to make myself better, just like what you do, man. So I feel like that's the main thing to focus on and try to leave the world a better place for your kids and everything, man. And you're teaching them right. You're doing your thing, man. It's just gonna take time, dude. That's the way I look at it, and it's cool to see that you're bettering yourself as well, man. I'm happy for you, dude. It's cool. It's cool to see that you're progressing in your military career. I don't know if you feel proud about that, but I would, man. That's a big thing, dude. I know the military is not easy. I know there's a lot of politics and bullshit that goes on behind the scenes. So if you're making your way up, dude, you're doing good stuff, man. And you're gonna go out there and keep killing it, dude. I think you're gonna continue, and I'm excited to see the art keep growing, dude, and see everything else that you come out. Before you move to Texas, you gotta come back on. You gotta come back on the podcast. I'm like, damn, man. I would say John's in Texas now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But it also give me a chance to come out there, man. I'll come out to Texas, come say what's up. I wanna go do some traveling pods now. That's something that's kind of like the next step for us that we've been talking about is expanding. I love talking to everybody in Jacksonville, but I would also love to go on the road a little bit and expand the podcast a little more than just Jacksonville. Kind of promote other stuff and go see some other people.
Rogan. So with Joe Rogan.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If Joe Rogan hit me up to be on his podcast, you know how I say I'm not usually nervous doing this. I'd be a nervous wreck on that podcast with multiple millions of people, like 20 million people listen to it every single week. I would be losing my shit, but it'd be cool, man. And just kind of like me and Jan's goal, man, is just to keep growing the pod. I would love to, have her be able to retire her and us just do this, man. That's the ultimate goal.
Oh, dude. Have you seen the Kill Tony podcast?
Hell yeah, I've seen Kill Tony. I love Kill Tony.
David Lucas, the comedian, he was here at a comedy club here in Jacksonville, I think a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, though, if you were to find one of the comedians, so I think about it sometimes for you, any comedian that gets on his podcast, on his show, that gets a spot, stand up for a minute up there, if you were to find their stuff and they just happen to are from here.
It's funny enough that you say that. I have had someone on here who's been on Kill Tony twice.
Really?
Yeah, Bobby Brown Jr.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Bobby Brown. Shout out Bobby Brown. He's actually been on Kill Tony twice, and he also did that show with David Lucas that you were just talking about.
No shit.
Yeah, he opened for him.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
So you already know the connection. Okay, cool.
Yeah, man. No, that's the thing is just I try to get out there and connect with people, as many people as possible. That's where I feel like I'm lucky being an extrovert is getting out there and shaking hands, because I'm not really scared to walk up to anybody. Right. I'm more just like, hey, how you doing? Now obviously if it's Joe Rogan or someone who I'm a big fan of, I'm gonna get nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be like, because I'm not gonna just be like, hey, dude, I have a podcast. He's like, he hears that every fucking day. I'm not gonna try to be like, Rogan, you want to come on the pod, bro? Come on here and have a conversation. Yeah. You look at me and be like, dude, I have 20 things to do today. I don't know about that.
You ever seen him kick?
Oh, yeah,
He's
bro.
Kicking,
dude, I couldn't imagine taking a kick from Rogan or anything. To be honest, dude, I've never trained in like martial arts or boxing or anything like that. You're fine if the water on there. Okay, it's all good. Thank you. I've never trained in any of that stuff, man. So I'd get my ass beat by any of these dudes who know real quick. They would probably take me out by the legs and choke me out in 2 seconds.
Kill someone, man. I've seen the video. I was very impressed by his kick. I was like, it's like a back kick or something.
Yeah, like a spinning back kick or something. Yeah,
I can't do it.
Oh, dude, I don't have that kind of flexibility. These long ass legs. Like, I was talking to my buddies like about golf and everything, and one of the parts that I'm having issues with is getting the driver to go a little bit farther. My original first hit to go farther. Yeah. And my top half of my body works, but my bottom half of my body doesn't connect. So it's like getting that whole thing. So I can't imagine my big ass trying to do a spinning kick. It'd be kind of wild though. I'd probably kick someone in the head real hard, Shannon. Yeah. Don't you think? Say my tall ass is gosh.
You seen giraffes fight?
Yeah.
You're like, sorry, not to say you're tall, but a giraffe, they do stuff like that.
No, you're fine. It's funny that
giraffe trying to fight.
The reason why you bring that up, it's funny, is because me and my buddies, I have a bunch of buddies who are like nurses and things that live in Tampa and a couple other places, and we all crack on each other all day long. It's relentless. And they call me a giraffe, and they always put like the meme. They put the memes of the giraffes hitting each other with their necks and everything. That's why I laughed when you said that. Yeah. It is funny. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, man. I'm not uncomfortable with being tall. It's just how I am, man. I'm long, lanky dude, and it's just me, man.
Yeah.
But so with everything going on, man, we're getting closer to the end of the podcast here. Is there anything else that we should know, man? Obviously, you're wearing your shirt. Are you selling merch and everything now? What's all going on with that?
So my buddy Devin down, he owns the thrift store. It's like a vintage thrift store kind of clothing brand that he owns. It's called Detention Kid Thrift. Mm-hmm. It's down in Melbourne, Florida. So he printed all these shirts. So he's selling them. I have a limited amount that I'm selling. Mm-hmm. So I have about, I think, 15 shirts.
Nice. Okay.
So I have a couple for my son. I have one for myself, and then I'm selling the rest.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it as far as like for the clothing. But I wanted to let people know that like every other Saturday in front of the Cumber Museum, like on the sidewalk for the Riverside Arts Market on Saturdays, I do that event.
Yeah.
I do my furniture drops where I just leave pieces of artwork out for people to grab. That's about it as far as that. I'm trying to think.
You're good, man. Take your time. I just want to make sure.
I blank out a lot.
You're good, man. I just want to make sure we're putting everything out. If there's any events coming up that you got going on or anything like that, I want to make sure. I remember me and you were talking about painting this thing over here.
Yeah.
I would definitely. So when me and Shane were actually talking about it the other day, so I think what we're going to do is we got a bunch of stickers over there. We're going to make the inside of one. I think it'd be cool, man, if you are down for it.
Yeah.
If you want to do like one of the squares and like do your art as like the background of the squares, because I think that would be cool to have different artists do like different things. There's like a Moscone, I think is what his name is. I think I want to get him on the pod, but he's kind of mysterious from what I've seen. I don't think he shows his face too much. So I don't want to well, just kind of like how
I'm sorry, Mosk.
Thank you, not Moscone. My bad. You know the character I'm talking about, like the graffiti art and everything. I want to get him in here, but I don't know how he'll do on camera because Brett was the same way. Like Brett's just like he doesn't want to make his face the brand, which I understand. I vibe with it. That's cool, man. But I would definitely like to get him on there and get some more just artist stuff, dude. I love having Jacksonville artists come in here and put stuff up and just having different things. And this became a centerpiece of the pod, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, bud. I love your art, dude. And I was glad to, buy a piece from you and glad I had something that was really early, to be honest with me. This was an early piece, if I remember correctly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember the video you posted, the reel of you like having this and like you would like tick up. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the amount of progress I made is, I think, pretty good.
I agree, man. You're doing good stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Hey, man, I love it. And I think it's going to continue being great, man. Like I said, thank you so much for your time, man. I know we're sitting here on a Saturday. I know you got a busy schedule with the kids and the wife and everything, man. But
I'm going home.
I appreciate. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Like I said, and I'm happy for you, dude. And thank you for always supporting the podcast as well, dude. You've always been a very big supporter. I always appreciate it. You shooting me a message saying what's up and everything. So
I got you. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, one more time, if you want to let everybody know where they can give you a follow on the social media, anything else that you want to promote, all that good stuff.
Okay. It's on Instagram _ModernSlow and then another underscore.
Yeah, guys. So make sure you guys go check him out. I'll have everything in the description for him. Make sure you guys click on there, give him a follow, let him know who are you sent you. If you guys bought a piece of art, comments. I would love to see, if you guys bought a piece from him or you have something from his collections, post a picture in the comments and everything. I love to see when everybody's, helping support local artists here in Jacksonville or just local people in general. So make sure you comment that. But before we get out of here, guys, if you guys want to give us a follow on the social media, it's going to be Who Are You Pod from everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots. And then it's going to be Who Are You podcast on YouTube if you guys want to check us out on there as well. We're doing a little bit more on the video side. We're trying to grow. I'm getting the editing down a little bit better than what it was originally, so trying my best here. So make sure you guys give us a subscribe, leave a comment, like, follow. You guys know all the normal shit. And then if you guys know someone who you think would be a good fit for the podcast, make sure you guys hit me up on any of those social platforms, or you can shoot me an email. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But as I say every single week, John, thank you so much for your time today. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.